Hello hay farmers and aspiring hay farmers. Today I'm just going to make a real quick video on how you tie your twine together. And then we're also going to look at how you rethread the needles to restring the knotters. So before we get going, I want to talk about some terminology. First of all, one box of twine is called a bale. There are 2 balls of twine in a bale. Each bale of twine is going to be associated with 2 numbers that are often not referred to correctly. The first number is the length, that is 9,000 feet. The second number is the twine breaking strength in pounds. So this is 130 pounds breaking strength of the twine. You can get stronger twine too. You can get 150 pound, 170 pound and up. And this is 9,000 feet. That means there's a total of 9,000 feet of twine in this box. So 9,000 feet bale. So each ball of twine is 4,500 feet. You can also get 9,150, 9,170. That just means they're going to be a little thicker twine and they are going to have a higher breaking strength. So on that note, if you are switching to a thicker or thinner twine, for instance, something you might notice is as the baler is feeding the hay, it's going to tie the knot, and then about right here, halfway through the bale chute, the knot suddenly breaks. So what do? That's fortunately a really easy fix. These right here are your twine springs, right there and right there. If you've gone to a thinner twine, just tighten that clockwise about 1/4 of a turn on each one. Just that bolt head right there. And that should give you a longer tail, and that knot should hold when you go down. All right, so now let's talk about how we tie a new ball or bale of twine into our twine box. So you first got to understand the way the twine feeds. The twine is being pulled from the center of the bale like this. And so as you bale, it uses up everything until it gets to the outside. Once it gets to the outside, that is where it needs to connect to the next twine ball from the center. So what you're going to do is there's always a piece of twine that comes out of the middle. This is what runs to your needles. Then there's going to be a piece of twine coming from the outside. This is what's going to tie to your next twine bale, except this one is going to tie to the center knot or the center string of your new twine bale, because remember, once this one gets used up, your next one is what's going to be feeding it. So what you'll need to do is actually pull this one out just like this, and it's already out. And so now we're going to put the next one in and tie it off. So I've just put a new twine ball in there, and let's take a look at what we've got. We pull this out of the middle and they're tied together. And so it says pull from this end. And so you can see this one goes down to the center. So this is going to be where your twine feeds from. So that means this string here is going to need to be tied to the outermost string here. In other words, this string that comes from the edge is going to need to tie to the string coming from the middle. So let's just tear this off. I'll do it with one hand. There. Now here's our string from the middle. Remember, this is going to feed once this one runs out. We're going to tie the one in the middle off with the one on the edge. So when I tie these together, again, my inside one being tied to my outside one of the current bale, I like to use a square knot. And the trick with this is to get it tight, very tight, as tight as you can, and then cut the tail off as short as you can, because you do not want this knot to get hung up when it feeds through the knotters when you're switching bales. Otherwise it's gonna make a mess on your bill hook and you're gonna have to stop and undo it. So, in case you forget, square knot is right over left and under, right over left and under. just like that. And it'll look like that when it's finished. Pull it really tight. And then cut your tails off as close as you can, while taking care to not cut this, because I always accidentally cut that too. And there you go. You've got your twine bale or ball tied together. And then you would just repeat the same thing on this side as well. So let's talk about feeding the twine now. Let's say you ran completely out of twine and now you lost the twine to your knotters, so there's no more twine in there and you have to re-thread the twine through your needles. Not a big deal. First of all, your baler is going to have some kind of a diagram on the inside on how you thread your twine. On this New Holland 311, the twine feeds through these, and then on every baler it's going to come through the twine box through these tensioners here. Now this tensioner actually serves a purpose. This needs to be fairly tight. You need some tension on this, because if it's too loose you're going to have problems threading twine to your needles and your knotters for that matter. So then the twine comes down here through this insulator, and then it runs underneath this arm right here. And then what you got to do is run the twine underneath here, behind there, into that insulator there. Run the twine through your needle right there. There's a hole in the end of your needle. Just switching camera angle here. You run your twine through the hole of your needle, and then you tie the twine off on the frame in the baler. So again, run it from the twine box down to here, under this frame, up around to the insulator, come up over the top of the insulator in this frame, through the hole in your needles, and then take that twine, just tie it off in some kind of knot right here. Don't worry about getting it perfectly tight, that don't matter, the needles will take care of that for you. Moving around to the other side of the baler now, once you've got the needles threaded and tied off to the frame of the baler, now all you have to do is turn the baler on, get it going. It can be just going at a slow speed. Now just simply trip your knotter arm. Pull up on this arm all the way. What that's going to do is it's going to trip the knotters. Your needles are going to move up into the knotters, come right through this area right here, and it's going to feed the twine in there, and boom, you're back in service. Unlike a lot of farm videos on YouTube, I do not make videos of my day-to-day activities. Instead, what I tend to do is make videos that are showing how to do things. I try to find niche repairs, repairs that aren't covered on how to do them, and then I like to show how to do those. Most of my equipment's New Holland, but a lot of this is universal to many types of balers, mowers, etc. Anyways, I tailor a lot of my videos to people who are just starting out, or maybe don't quite know how to do all this stuff. But hey, if you like watching this stuff just because you like watching farming videos, then welcome to my channel as well. Anyway, if you like this type of material, like and subscribe, and then hit notifications too so you can see when I post new stuff. Thanks for watching, and happy baling.